When you enter Hue, there's a strange airy that follows you from the airport to your accommodation. The ghost town feels still by comparison to the fast sprinter city life in Ho Chi Minh. You'd be taken aback by the absence of tourists around, especially since Vietnam is amongst the most traveled countries in Southeast Asia. The once capital of the country, Hue has been unknowingly preserved as an artifact of the lost times. Although the absence of loud honks and bikes running in every street make atmosphere strange, being here will be the first time you would feel like you are in Vietnam. The buildings and architecture, the way locals are dressed, everything here reminds you of a time gone by. It's almost as if someone paused time here and made Hue the Disney World of Vietnam's history. As you embark your journey to understand the marvels of Hue, the one stop you will definitely end up first at is the Imperial City. The Imperial City is a living canvas of an episodic painting of a bygone era. Walking through its gates, you step into a world of emperors and dynasties, where every stone whispers stories of a past. A stroll here might overwhelm your sensory nerves, but will definitely make you reach your daily goals on your fitness watch. The defensive walls and the grand gates, once built to protect admins and royals, are now a grand display of regal opulence. The canals inside, which once served as the transportation route of boats carrying goods and people in this gigantic property, are now still, creating a melodic trance of a serene atmosphere. When the sunlight reflects on the water, it sparkles the architecture, creating a picturesque view that's hard to replicate. The fresh coat of paint on almost every part of the building can make you forget how old it is. The preservation of a UNESCO World Heritage Site comes with serious funding and responsibility. But as you make your way to nooks and corners, the tattered brick and mortar is a jolting reminder that you are walking inside a piece of history. The most number of people you will find are going to be sitting in two spots, Meridian Gate and the roofed corridor. Apart from being huge inviting spaces, both the spots have one thing in common: the view and the breeze. When sitting on the Meridian Gate, the view of the hills and wind gushing from all sides can quickly hypnotize you. The roofed corridor also has a similar effect. The sharp contrast of red against the green of grassland is an enchanting sight. On a bright sunny day or when heavy rainfall pours, the red corridor comes in quite handy for all visitors. Taking a walk inside the Imperial City is possibly the best way to understand the royal history of Vietnam. The stories of rules and kingdoms is etched in every stone of this building. Even if you prefer to just stroll inside the arena, taking one element of the structure at a time, you will still leave from here with a strong appreciation for the country's history. Amongst old buildings and museums of the royalty is a serene spot with elevated views of river, sunset, and distant mountains. Seeing the hilltops view serves as a testament of how Hue sustained as the cultural and religious capital of Vietnam. I found a paraphrased representation of this sentiment often attributed to the once ruler of Vietnam, King Gia Lon's appreciation for Wonka Hill. Amidst the tranquility of Wonka Hill, I find a respite from the burdens of rule. The river's mirror-like surface reflects the sky's beauty, and the wind whispers the secret of nature. Here, I'm a poet, not a king, where the soul finds solace in the embrace of the landscape. This river has witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, heard the whispers of poets, and cradled the stories of generations. I'll be honest in admitting I'm not a history buff. I do enjoy stories and buildings which captivate me into a world unknown. But with an attention span of a golden retriever and a memory of goldfish, I'm usually not turned to for factual information. So when I entered the Museum of Dudak, I really thought I was in the Imperial City again. I was ready to leave when rechecking Google Images and GPS location reaffirmed that I was in the right space. Unsure of what to expect, I was quickly transported into a tomb fit for king. You can sense the artistic and poetic nature of the ruler by the peaceful and romantic space that he chose as his final resting spot. It was the place where he could retreat from the citadel to compose poetry or go hunting. Amidst the colorful and vibrant koi ponds and fragrant flowers, visitors may forget that they are at a tomb and instead feel as if they have stepped into a paradise of plants, poetry, and dreams. Among students from nearby school guided by their teacher on a history trip, foreigners appreciating the beauty of Vietnam's history, and locals posing in their traditional attires or praying to the royalty. The sensory overload can be quickly reduced by just walking a few steps towards the less maintained area. The buildings are neighboring a small forest of barren and young trees. In this space, you will notice how green the surroundings are. The moss on the wall is a matching hue as the pond, and you can imagine the emperor walking through these corridors, pouring his thoughts into poetry. Vietnamese emperors believed in the Oriental belief of needing all your worldly possessions in your afterlife, which is why, as famous as Hue is for the beautiful pagodas and monuments, it has one of the most magnificent royal burial buildings. One such marvel is the tomb of Khai Din. Khai Din was not just an emperor with a strong eye for aesthetics and architecture, which is obvious with the exquisite blend of traditional Vietnamese, Chinese, and French styles in the building, or the view of the distant hills, but he was also a forward thinker. Being one of the first in introducing electricity to the country, he insisted on having electric lighting installed within the chambers of the tomb, making his ability to combine traditional with modernity a testament to his rule. Khai Din laid the building blocks to the relationship between the French and Vietnam, creating one of the most magnificent structure of the country. With this, I conclude my trip to Hague, the textbook on the history of Vietnam.